LAWsome by ConsultWebs. Breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm with your host, Tanner Jones.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, all you LAWsome listeners. Today on the show, we're talking with Robb Steinberg, attorney, TrialWorks founder, cloud migration lead, and assembly software. He has legal, software, and entrepreneurial experience. After graduating from the University of Miami Law School in '94, Robb started as an associate attorney and was asked to help with a Ponzi scheme litigation case where he learned the firm was using 24 paralegals to review and attempt to organize literally millions of pages of discovery. He knew there had to be a better way to search, to categorize, and to file those documents, so he personally coded and built a database that could store and manage legal documents automatically. This proprietary case management product became the precursor to TrialWorks. Shortly thereafter, Robb stopped practicing law and he started TrialWorks Case Management, and for 20 years developed and sold it to thousands of law firms across the country. In 2017, he was acquired by Assembly Software, which would later that year acquire his biggest competitor, Needles. At that time, Robb and the new executive team knew the future of case management was cloud-based, and he started the development of Neo's Cloud Case Management. Neo's encompasses the best features of TrialWorks and Needles and puts them into a powerful, easy-to-use product within the cloud. Today's topic is how the pandemic has permanently shifted attorneys' priorities and their practices. Robb, welcome. Thank you for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's jump into some questions here because we've talked almost ad nauseum about this pandemic and the changes that have happened to businesses large and small across the country. And I think in your industry in particular, in the tech business, obviously that is what's been just radically transformed. And there have been a lot of law firms, quite frankly, left behind. But there's also been a lot of law firms that have taken initiative and leveraged this type of technology to benefit themselves, their firms, and obviously their clients. And so we have a number of questions around this concept of the pandemic and ultimately the significant impact it's had on the legal profession. But it begs the question from you who have been in the trenches during this time, what are some of the key ways that you've seen the pandemic has ultimately impacted the legal profession? And ultimately, what have you seen that law firms are doing to adapt?
Well, as you've made clear, the legal industry evolved both as a practicing attorney and a technology provider. How they use technology during the pandemic. Personal computer came out in the early 70s. For 50 years, law firms were dinosaurs in adopting technology. Mm-hmm. Well, the pandemic changed all that, and law firms adopted technology very quick. Prior to the pandemics, law firms were, for the most part, the slowest industry to adopt technology, and that has quite changed. Do you know how many lawyers still use WordPerfect? I mean, that's the nature of the business. That includes the court system was slow to adopt technology prior to the pandemic. Overnight, law firms were forced to embrace technology, shedding unnecessary rituals and processes. The result has become a more efficient industry where client interests override the old ways that law firms did business. At first, it was working from home, online client meetings, and virtual court sessions. This means law firms needed software like Neos that allowed easily remote access to their entire matter file remotely. Courts and attorneys who have never heard of Zoom or Microsoft Teams quickly started utilizing these tools. Prior to the pandemic, it was rare ever for an attorney to attend a hearing remotely, even by phone. Overnight, this had to be done via Teams or Zoom. And post-pandemic, this has actually stayed as well. So, as I said at the beginning, the 3 years of the pandemic did more for law firms adopting technology than the prior 50 years.
It was just radical change, no question. It was almost forced change.
It was forced change. Either that,
adapt or
survival
die.
of the fittest.
That's
survival of the fittest, or not. You're not going to make it in the new world.
Do you know how many cases you're signing from your marketing investment each month? If you want to diagnose the status of your firm's marketing efforts, then the LAWsome podcast has a gift for you. Discover the best and the most unique legal marketing solutions available today using the Decision-Making Handbook's free printable criteria. Claim your copy in the bio below. And you referenced the whole concept, like the early shift there. We started seeing law firms sending staff, sending attorneys home for virtual work and communication, some of which tried their best to quickly bring those individuals back into the office. Others have embraced this concept. I've heard more and more law firms embracing virtual receptionists, even going overseas to find lower cost labor. So some pretty significant adaptation there. So based on what you've seen in that respect with regard to remote work and virtual communication, what are you seeing the specific changes are within, how they're conducting business or even interacting with clients? Any kind of positive or negative impacts that you've seen from that?
There's mainly positives. All positives have to be a little negative. But client meetings, depositions, and so on no longer require travel. Clients don't expect you to travel to them. They know that everything can be done over Zoom or Teams. And that's the way it's done. In fact, sometimes just as easy as FaceTime is used to talk to a client, to give that facial one-on-one. Clients expect quick response times now. They're used to instantaneous gratification. Initial client meetings that used to be scheduled 10 days out, that no longer happens. It happens in a 15-minute time slot that it can fit in via Zoom or Teams or FaceTime. And that was unheard of prior to COVID. I mean, you'd call a law firm, we'll see you in 10 days.
Right.
But the client now controls more of the process because they're able to. Overall, I think this is a positive for both the clients and the law firms. Clients get better service, and lawyers have new digital tools to make their jobs easy, and in the end, provide a better product and end result for the client. And that's really what it's about. Best results for the client and better profitability for the law firms.
You hit the nail on the head there that it's, yes, there's been an adaptation for the law firm themselves and just trying to kind of find that new normal, but it's also, looking at just the heart of customer service and serving the client. What does the client want? The client wants convenience. They want things to be expedited quickly. They want it behind them as fast as possible. And that's exactly what this technology is allowing. And so it's catering to that customer service. And I think that's such an important piece that even as a business owner, you reference the archaic or the dinosaur industry that it really once was and how quickly that evolved. Well, today, now is the opportunity to serve the client better than you've ever had the ability to serve them through embracing the technology.
I mean, the pandemic has taken law firms, besides accounting and that, which was obviously had gone into computers and technology. But law firms for the most part were just using word processors off of that. That was their adaptation of technology. And now, post-pandemic, they're using tools like Neos. They're using Zoom, Teams, everything they can to be efficient and get the job done. What I tried to do for 30 years, the pandemic did overnight.
You most certainly were on the forefront there, looking back multiple decades ago and thinking, how can we begin to automate some of this laborious work and all the tasks, the minutia there. And obviously that has served the industry extraordinarily well. And so we're all grateful for that. But let's keep moving, because I think there's another topic here that's worth exploring, and that's around the topic of digital marketing. An important part to highlight in this whole discussion is the change in what technology has offered law firms and opportunities it's created. Many law firms historically have leaned on very linear paths of marketing and advertising, traditional marketing like television, for example, even in-person networking, being a member of the country club and rubbing elbows, if you will, with others in the community. That has been a tried and true.
Passing out business cards at a gas station everywhere you go. I mean, the most basic of old-fashioned marketing, was the way that things were done.
That's it. And not to necessarily throw shade on the traditional means of advertising. I've seen, firsthand that those can still be very effective areas of marketing and advertising, but clearly digital media is on the forefront. The pandemic clearly pushed that forward, arguably more faster than a decade, pushed us ahead in terms of just the adaptation or adoption of consumers going to the internet and leaning on the internet. And so with that change comes opportunity naturally for the legal profession. Based on you being in the tech business and clearly being a lawyer yourself, being in the industry for so long, how have you seen these last few years reshape the legal market with respect to digital marketing?
Well, sure. That depends on the type of firm you are, of course. But for the large firms, ML 100 firms, or even the small firms who do different types of work, digital marketing has become the key way to gain new business. Word of mouth and networking have become less important. Those events just don't happen during the pandemic and post-pandemic. There are very few search terms that are more expensive on Google than related to legal services. That's just when you look it up, those are the expensive words. Firms had to learn how to navigate SEO and spend their marketing dollars in a new and efficient way in order to gain new business. And they've done it by reaching out to companies that specialize in that area. And it's not just a Google placement in your website, it's using Google Ads and using different tools to get on the top of the list. So become the most important way of gaining new customers. If people aren't traveling by car, those billboards don't work, by the way.
I think that's an important piece too. You're right. The overall traffic, since more and more people are working from home, obviously that has diminished over the last couple of years. Can you speak to maybe any changes in client behavior or just general consumer behavior that you're seeing?
Sure. Potential clients rely on social media and Google to learn about anything and everything. That includes legal services. I mean, we're all stuck to our phone and searching. Clients know everything about the lawyers and the law firms they contact. And most importantly now, the clients are reading those Google reviews on the law firms. And that has a dramatic impact on who they hire and how they find their attorney. This is an entire new ball game for law firms. A bad review on Google has a negative impact to every potential client. Unlike before, where a single upset client was just that, a single upset client who had very little means of telling the world about why they're upset. Now everyone knows. So law firms are much more worried about reviews than, let's say, an upset client filing a malpractice action against them, actually. That's just a one-on-one. Someone posts something on Google, it's for the whole world to see. The paradigm has shifted. I mean, the paradigm has shifted drastically. The client has a lot of control in this whole process.
I would agree 100%. I think it's important for business owners to see that as I've mentioned this before, but an opportunity. Yes, certainly there's some downsides to that if you're not proactive and you're not protecting that online reputation. But you make a great point that is the future. And we talked about word of mouth historically being a huge driver to new business and referrals. Well, that general concept has not gone away, but the mechanism and how we exchange our endorsement of a product or service has changed. And it's become even more impactful because the reach, right? Just as you said, one review now can potentially reach thousands of future potential clients. And that presents significant opportunity for firms who are willing to embrace it.
Yeah, and then embracing it means when you finish a case and you have a happy client, you help them get that review posted because it's 50 good reviews, one bad review. That bad review gets pushed down.
That's it.
And you have to be proactive as a law firm on that and ask your clients to do it, not just settle the case, give them the check, and say, "Bye. Can you do me a favor? Let me help you do that." So
every year we make predictions about legal marketing trends that will affect hundreds of thousands of lawyers across the country. If you've been looking to reach new clients, stay informed, or gain a competitive advantage in your market area, this is your opportunity. Unlock the secrets of success with this exclusive PDF that reveals some of the top legal marketing trends in the industry today. Claim your copy in the bio below. Well, let's move into a final question here as we wrap up, Rob, and very grateful for your willingness to kind of talk through this and share what you've seen over the last few years in the legal space, but clearly the pandemic has forced not just attorneys, but all business owners to adapt. We've really stressed that over the last several questions here. But the big piece is, everyone, we have to remain competitive. We, as a business owner, we have to continue to look to the next opportunity to continue to serve our clients well. And so based on that and based on your experience, what are some of the best practices for law firms who are hungry to stay competitive, who clearly see the sand shifting underneath their feet here? What advice would you offer there?
Well, they have to continue to embrace technology to reduce their costs, become more efficient, improve productivity, and ultimately better serve their clients. Better service is what they have to do. They can't be, this is the way we do it. No, you got to adapt to the client's needs. Despite economic uncertainty, law firms continue to be in high demand. They're not really getting hurt by a recession necessarily. People need them even more, bankruptcy attorneys, etc. And many firms need to look to ways to streamline administrative tasks, take document storages online, meet productivity demands, and embrace emerging technologies. And of course, remote work is going to be here forever now. As we look ahead, legal technology will remain as an essential part of the legal industry, and law firms will continue to spend money on tech and improve productivity and efficiency. Doing so will allow law firms to find ways to save time, automate documents, and reduce the reliance on a physical paperwork, which can reduce admin costs and improve efficiency. And quite frankly, the cloud offers that solution with remote work requirements. Besides decreasing workloads and improving overall efficiency, cloud legal technology most apparent benefit is the firm of hybrid and remote management. You're not stuck to a device, you're not stuck to a desk. Workplace flexibility is becoming a competitive advantage and quickly broadening the pool of job candidates that law firms can find. No longer do you have to hire people in your own city or whatever. You can hire them remotely, and as you said, you can even go look outside the United States for some positions and save some cost. They have to make sure they promote a healthy work-life balance to retain their valued employees. I think that's one of the things that you learned during the pandemic is people will jump jobs. And so your valued employees, you have to use technology to show them a benefit so their lifestyle will be better, and their quality of life will be better.
You've hit several anticipations here that I would agree with. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, it truly will be the law firms that are willing to embrace technology and adapt to serve their clients that come out ahead of this. And it's not just going to be a little bit of a distance ahead. I believe it's, if they embrace the technology the way it can be leveraged, that's where that distance is going to be so significant. It's going to make it very, very difficult for other competitors to stay ahead. And one thing I would encourage our listeners, in introducing Robb, we noted kind of the early days of when Robb saw a problem. He saw that, there was a significant amount of people spending a lot of time pouring through a lot of documents, and there was an opportunity to optimize the process, to improve the process. And I would encourage every business owner listening to look at those problems within your office. What's requiring your team to have to come back to and spend manual time doing over and over that could easily be either supported or taken care of entirely through the use of software or technology. By thinking that way, you're going to be able to most certainly stay ahead of competition in the future. Robb, thanks again. Any final words that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Just that the pandemic that forced the legal profession to pivot quickly. It's just the start of rapid change in the legal profession, and it will continue. As technology and AI advances, it will have an even more impact on the speed at which legal professionals deliver its services to its clients. So be ready for it, embrace it, adopt it.
Robb, what's the best way for our listeners to contact you?
The best way to contact me, of course, is by email, which is robb2bs@assemblysoftware.com. Or you can give me a call at 786-456-9210, and we can talk about anything you wish.
Thanks again, Robb.
Thank you. Have a good day.
LAWsome by ConsultWebs with Tanner Jones. For show notes, links, and info, go to consultwebs.com/podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Watch for the next LAWsome episode to discover more breakthrough insights to build a thriving law firm.